Welcome back, class. Who here has been to a zoo or a nature center before? Excellent, I see a lot of hands raised. Raise your hand if you have seen an animal called a sloth before. Oh, I see 1, 2 hands lifted. Who can tell me something about a sloth? Maybe describe what they look like or something that they know about them. Emma, what do you know about sloths?
They're vegetarian.
They're vegetarians? Can you describe what a sloth looks like?
Well, they have dark fur.
They have fur?
Not fur, hair.
Are they big? Are they small?
They're medium.
They're like medium size? Where do they live? Can anybody tell me where they live? Yes, where do they live?
They live in the rainforest.
In the rainforest? Do they hide in caves? Where do they like
live
to
in
make their
trees.
homes? In trees. All right. Well, today we're going to do a reading comprehension passage about sloths. And we're going to learn some fun facts about them. On your desks, you guys have a pen and you have a passage. Just go ahead and get one of those from your table cubby. And you're just going to read along with me as I read the passage. If you would prefer to close your eyes and visualize what's happening in this as I read, you're also welcome to do that. But I want you trying to think and focus and pick up on all of the clues and all of the details about sloths as I'm reading. Okay. Sloths are the slowest mammals on Earth. It takes a full minute for a sloth to move 6 feet across the ground. You probably couldn't move that slowly if you tried. The sloth's body is about 2 feet long, and it has long legs and curved claws that are 3 to 4 inches long. Their claws and their long legs help them climb trees and hang from tree branches. They spend almost their entire lives hanging from tree branches. The life of a sloth is not very exciting. Sloths have a round head, small ears, a stubby tail, and a sad-looking eyes that are set in dark-colored masks. The shape of the sloth's mouth makes it look like it's always smiling. It has extra bones in its neck that make it possible for it to turn its head almost all the way around. I'm going to pause there for a minute. That's kind of an interesting fact. Is there any other animal that we can think of that can move their head almost all the way around? Yes.
An owl.
An owl. Yeah, that does sound kind of like an owl. What purpose do you think that a sloth could possibly have to move his head all the way around like that? What do you think?
I think it's so he can spot predators.
So he could spot, that's an excellent hypothesis. I think I agree with you. Let's keep reading and find out. Sloths are very cute to look at, but they don't put on much of a show. Sloths are home to other plants and creatures. I never thought of that. I wonder how that could be. Plants and creatures living on them? Tiny plants grow on a sloth's fur, making the animals appear to be green. This green color makes the sloths almost invisible against green leaves of trees that they live on. There's a special vocabulary word that I'm thinking. What do we call it when an animal can blend in with its surroundings? Does anybody know that special word? What do you think it is?
Camouflage.
Camouflage, that's exactly the vocabulary word I was thinking. Maybe the sloths move so little and so seldom that the small creatures that live on them don't even know that they're animals. Giant sloths are the size of elephants. Once lived many places on Earth, including North America. Today, sloths can be found in the tropical forests of Central and South America. They eat leaves and berries. A sloth can stick its tongue out 12 inches. 12 inches, that's almost a whole foot. Maybe they developed this skill so they wouldn't have to move to reach the tasty leaves and berries around their resting spot. You know what else? We read earlier that sloths can move their heads really far around. Now we know that their tongue can reach very far, so maybe that's so that they can reach food in all directions. Does anybody agree with that? Yeah. Their main enemies are jaguars, eagles, and snakes. Many tropical forests are disappearing along with sloths that live there. It would be a sad thing if these fascinating little animals became extinct. How do you think that sloths were able to survive in the prehistoric era when they were as big as elephants? Because I'm sure they were still very slow. Emma, what do you think?
They probably still lived on trees.
They were probably still living on probably huge trees, because if they were as big as elephants, they had to be huge trees. But yeah, you're right. What predators do you think they had? Because today they have jaguars, eagles, and snakes. Back then in the prehistoric age, what do you think would hunt the sloths? Yes, what do you think?
Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs, like maybe a T-Rex, huh? I agree with you. I think you're right. Okay, for this next activity, I'd like you to get one of the sticky notes from your desk and a marker, and I'd like you to remember one of the fun facts or a neat detail that you didn't know about sloths before that you do know now. And I want you to write that fact on your sticky note. And I'm gonna bring out my handy dandy little sloth here. All right, who would like to be the first to share a fun fact? Oh, I'll take yours. I'll take yours as well. They have green fur from the plants that grow on them, and they camouflage with trees. Would anybody else like to share one of their fun facts? What do we have here? The size of elephants. That's right, in prehistoric times, they were the size of elephants. What about you, Emma? They had tiny ears. They did have tiny ears. It did say that. Any others? They live in trees. They move their neck all the way around. Insects and animals live on them. Wow, great ideas from everyone in class. And their tongues come out 12 inches. So if sloths were the size of elephants, oh, and one more. A very long tongue, I'll put it right here. So if sloths were the size of elephants in prehistoric times, and nowadays they come out 12 inches, stick your tongues out. That's about 1 to 2 inches. Imagine 12 inches. Then in prehistoric times, maybe they came out about 5 or 6 feet. That's almost as big as me. That's a very long tongue. They could probably eat a lot of leaves with that. Okay, for our next activity, yes, Emma, do you have a question?
I think instead of touching their noses, I think it would be more challenging to touch the back of their head.
I think they might be able to with that long of a tongue. For your comprehension activity, I would like you to write a summary on the paper that's on your desk. You have lined paper. I want you to think about the central idea of the story. What was this about? And I want you to think of at least 4 details or 4 facts. If you can't remember 4, I'm going to leave the poster out. You can use the poster to help you remember some extra details. But I'd like you to write a summary about what we just read, what you can remember. Write about what the central idea was, retell the story or the information, and give me at least 4 facts that you thought were interesting. While you're doing this, I'm going to call you one at a time to do the assessment questions that we did before we read the passage, and just see if you learned any new facts that maybe you didn't know before. Okay? Thank you so much.